you know, Josh said that you should think about it ahead of time. And that's what you did, right? You're asking the question ahead of time. So you want us to help you with that answer, that question, right? Right. And we're not helping you at all. Yeah.
No, but the answer is for the person engaged in it to already know his rights, not to have a friend pull him aside and say, "What time to tell you about your rights?"
See, so lots of people aren't here today that should be here, and right, and you're going to be tonight. There's going to be people down that you might run into that's engaging in the cop. They should have been here. So
to heck with them. Just they're on their own.
No, it's a good question, and you know, think about it ahead of time, right? That's what you're doing. So here's I want to know if Jim's talking to somebody outside, and I'm like, wow, that guy really shouldn't be talking to Jim. I'm a lawyer. I want to be able to say, excuse me, officer, have you told this guy that he's got a right to remain silent? Have you told him that? Or I'd like to say, you know, just so you know, you don't have to talk to the officer right now. I felt compelled to do that before. I'm a lawyer. Why do I have to be a lawyer to say that? Why can't you as a citizen say that? That's your question.
Exactly.
Right. And so I don't think you need a law degree. I don't think you have to be a lawyer to be some like citizen that then you can interject. I agree with Josh. You're going to go to jail. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right at all. It's kind of sad, actually. But if you say it, it depends how you do it. If you say it quickly,
don't say anything.
You don't have to say anything to this officer. And then he looks at you and says, go stand over there, right? Stand over there. My advice would be, if you're really serious about it, try it. No, I'm serious. And I agree with Josh. Have a video camera going. Have a witness. If you're serious about this, okay? And be polite, so that when a judge watches this, the judge is going to say, I didn't see anything wrong with that. Why shouldn't that citizen be able to say that? I don't see anything wrong with that. Because the officer is going to have it in his report, and it's going to make it look like diabolical what you did. And you got a video going. Be polite. Be respectful. And here's the question. You get charged with obstruction, right? Obstruction of justice. And the allegation is that you're hindering him to do his job, right? You're hindering him, his ability to do his job. How is telling somebody they have a right under the Constitution to not answer questions hindering him to do his job? That's not for you to argue, that's for your lawyer. It's a great question. I think you're going to win it. But you're going to end up in jail, and you're going to have to hire a lawyer to do it, if you can afford one. I'm just telling you the consequences, right? I think you got a very good question, and I felt like doing the very same thing. And I think there's nothing wrong with it in the end. But you're going to have to fight for your rights. But that's what you have to do, right? They're not going to give them to us. You have to fight for them, okay?
So one, look at that in a slightly different way too, is I can't tell you how many cases as a prosecutor where I had a witness who was unconnected to an incident, who might have called the police to report a crime or say, I hear this person beating this other person up. And those people are incredibly valuable in proving your case. They're gold in the courtroom. In the same way, I think that if you call on an incident that you're seeing, particularly one that you don't know the people, and you're observing something, and you are able to get that information to the police or the prosecutor, that's very persuasive to the prosecutor who looks at that and says, wait a minute, this is just a citizen, an average person, not connected, and they're saying it went a whole different way. That's very powerful. So I encourage you to think about how to do that. And when it's your friend in that situation, again, it's a difficult one, but I encourage you all to think about the power you have in this scenarios.
Thank you guys so much.
Alright, so if I'm outside or in another situation, like walking in the dorm or something, and I have a backpack on, how much am I protected from the contents of what's in my backpack? Is there any protection of that at all, of my privacy, of things in my backpack?
Where are you?
So, coming in a dorm, going to my room, or outside, either way. I'm curious about both situations.
You're just walking down the street minding your own business?
Yeah.
And you're like right now, for instance, how forget the backpack. How about your pants? Let's say you got pockets.
Yeah.
How sure are you that you're not going to get searched today?
Don't answer that.
Right? Like, that's your question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how sure am I that I'm not going to have that nobody's going to look into this?
Exactly.
Well, first of all, okay, very sure, unless there's a call in. I'm riding my bike home tonight, and somebody calls in and says, somebody riding a blue tandem without anybody in the back in a brown kind of suit coat with cowboy boots that just ran me over. Right? I mean, the cops gotta have a reason to come up to you. Right? We talked about that earlier, right? Reasonable suspicion. If you're not doing anything wrong, and they don't have any reason to come up to you unless they just want to chit chat or have you fly down or something, then you're good. But I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how much protection you have, and also if I'm walking into the dorm,
okay,
and going up to my room, not making a scene.
Right, just walking normally.
Just walking, yeah.
You have a right to against an unreasonable search, and if an officer walked up and wanted to search your backpack, that would be unreasonable without anything else. Okay, they just can't walk up. That's your question. Can they just walk up and ask me to look at my backpack? They can. You got a right to say no. You might not have been there earlier. You got a right to say, "Am I under arrest? No. Do I have to answer that question? No. Do I have to consent? No. Can I leave? Yes. Okay. I'm leaving you. You're an officer with all due respect. You got that right. They can't just take it and no. If they do, and you fight them, then you're going to be charged with obstruction. If they take it without probable cause, and they look at it, then your lawyer can argue that one. But you don't. Let your lawyer. But does that answer your question, though?
Yeah, and also, what if I say no, but they keep pressing and asking?
You don't argue with them, and you don't fight them, and you don't touch them, and you make clear. It's in here. You make it clear. I am not consenting to a search. I refuse to allow you to search. I'm not consenting to this at all. I'm not consenting to the frisk. I'm not consenting to the search. And then you got to trust that statement of yours ends up in their police report. And if it doesn't, and they say he consented to a search, then you're screwed. Unless you got a video camera going, which is where I hope we don't have to go there. But okay, so does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
And maybe somebody else has something else to say. I think
I don't. They can't search your backpack unless you're under arrest. So if short of being under arrest, you're going to have to give consent. I can't think of a good reason to give an officer consent to search anything. I really can't. I mean, even if you think to yourself, well, I don't have anything in this car, I don't have anything, you don't know that for sure. You may have loaned your car to somebody and they may have put a joint in the ashtray and you don't know it's there. Or you may be driving somebody else's car and you don't know it's there. I can't think of any good reason to say yes to that question. And there's no reason for you to say yes, and you don't have to say yes. So I would say, as long as you're not under arrest, and once you're under arrest, then the bets are off, and they have the right to go into your bag. They're going to get into your bag. So short of arrest, they're going to need consent.
So the only consequence would be that if they were to take a court and give a warrant, that's the only thing they could do.
Well, if they have probable cause, right? If they thought there was something in your bag and they had a good reason, and they could say, yeah, well, we're going to hold your bag right here, and then we're going to get a warrant. If they get a warrant and there's something in your bag, you're screwed. Right?
Yeah, that's the. All right. So the next step would be for them to get a warrant. Then.
I'm sorry?
The next step would be to get a warrant for them.
Their next step would be to get a warrant.
Their next step.
The question Josh was just asking, is there an exigent circumstance exception to your bag?
only if they thought there was a bomb or something.
Yeah.
And